So, do you think ETH and Bitcoin whales are going to dump their coins here? That's the key question. Look at this. Everyone's being worried because this 14-year-old whale has woken up. We're going to show you exactly what this means because we're going to be speaking from data, from actual historical data of what happens every time when they dump, and data on ETH as well. So, basically, the whole market is wondering what's going to happen with this whale, right? Who has been basically done this, woken up this 14-year-old wallet. And the thing is, so far, he hasn't dumped anything yet, right? He hasn't sold yet. He has just moved his coins. But that's strange because why would you move your coins if you don't intend doing anything? Especially for a guy like him who has held onto his coins for 14 years. And now he suddenly moves them without selling them? How is that possible? Because you do realize that every time when you move them, you run the risk of losing them. Because if you type in the wrong key, the address number, or if you make a little bit of mistake when you're transferring the coins, you could lose them, right? It's happened to everyone before, right? So therefore, why is he moving billions of dollars of Bitcoin after 14 years of laying dormant? So, Bitcoin, first I'll say that we've had the close, right, back inside the big range or the bull flag, and today it's been very small range, tiny and minimal movement because today is 4th of July in the US, 5th of July. And it's basically people are out there and celebrating. So there's very little trading. There's very little volume here, and this could mark our second close inside this this range. So then it would look like we are basically just doing a fake out back into the range, and that's not good. If that happens, then I would say this is the weekly. Then I would say if it closes like something like 107.6, then I would say if that happens, then basically it looks like we're back inside the range, and then a retest of 100K, which is not good, not good. So let's have a look at the actual facts of where we are with Bitcoin. So, for example, in the past, what happens? This is, by the way, when Bitcoin has that are over Bitcoin whale wallets that are over 7 years old to 10 years old have moved. This is what happens. So I'm just taking you guys through history because what we just saw today was 14. What we just saw a few moments, like 24 hours, 18 hours ago, was 18-year-old Bitcoin, 14-year-old Bitcoin been moved. This is what happens when 7 to 10 years old Bitcoin, and nowhere near as much, right? We're only talking 10,000. This time 40,000 Bitcoins got moved. The guy has like 140,000, 160,000 Bitcoins. So look, so for example, this is in 2018 January when Bitcoin, when 10,000 Bitcoins got moved that are 7 to 10 years old. Look, marked the exact top in the market. Market got spooked by this. And look at this. Here once again, in January 2020, just before COVID, and here's another, only 6,000 coins got moved, 6,500. And look, it marked the exact top before a big crash before COVID, right? So, and this time, keep in mind, we're only talking, we're only talking less than 10,000 coins. And this time, the guy has 160,000 coins, and something like 40,000 coins got moved. That is massive. That is massive. So what's going to happen this time? Now, before we answer the question, first let's answer the question of which crypto exchange does Pablo use? Well, Pablo uses exchange that is non-KYC. That means you don't even need to show your ID. That means the exchange can't see you. That means the IRS can't see you, the tax office can't see you, the CIA, FBI, nobody can see you. That's why I made this deal with them on this Pablo link, right? Deposit and get a 20% bonus. Just deposit 100 USDT and get 20 USDT futures bonus. deposit $1,000 and get 200 USDT futures bonus, right? Just by trading, win a MacBook Pro, iPhone 16, Apple Watch, all these great and wonderful prizes. Just by being in the top 20 of this competition, you get to win a prize. Not of the entire exchange, just a Pablo competition, right? Top 20. So this finishes on 11th of July, limited time only. And if you're watching on YouTube, then the link is in the description below. The link is in the description below, but that's okay if you're watching on any other platform. Just go and click on my profile page, and there is the stand link or my link tree, and it'll be the first deal that pops up because it's a great deal. Okay, let's get back to it, folks. And remember, only on the Pablo Heman link, only on the Pablo Heman link. So let's get back to the markets. We're talking about basically these whales selling, right, in the past. And look at how many times it caused dumps in the market. Here was in 2021 bull run, and this was like another 10K sale, and the market pulled back here, right? And that was a big pullback because this is a logarithmic chart. It went from like 41K down to 29K, right? This is like a 25% pullback because remember, this is a log chart, guys. Now this one, look at this. This was the 11K, only 11K dump in March 2021, and it signaled the bottom to the bull run because the price barely got higher to 64K, dumped to 28K, and it only got to 69K later on. Here, this is April 2022. April 2022. This time it's a 13, 14K sell from a 7 to 10-year-old wallet, and boom, right? Look at this. It basically marked the end of the rally, and down we go. So this is why, folks, now you understand why I've been talking about this a lot in my last episode, because it's not about the physical amount, it's about the psychological impact on the market. Look at this time. Look at this. May 2020, and this was only a small sell. This was only like 4,000 coins, right? 4,000 coins, and then boom, shows us we're going down again. This was September 2022. We had two batches of sales, both around 5K, so that's 10K sale. Boom, from 8K, where brings Bitcoin down again. Now this one, this green one, marked in green, shows the first time it actually marked the bottom. Look, 2023, end of 2022, we had a massive 10K sell, and it was absolute panic bottom, but it marked Bitcoin at the bottom of 15K. Even whales make these big mistakes. Okay, so look at how many signals we've had. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Out of these 8 signals, 7 turned out to be spot on, accurate, right? And these are only 7 to 10-year-old coins, right? This one time was the whale doing even the whales are absolutely panicking and sold at the 10K bottom. So here's the thing. Now I'm going to show you guys what happens when we have massive sales of this caliber, right? This is the sale we just had today. We just had like 24 hours ago. Well, the move on chain, 40,000 coins got moved, right? It's only happened like once before, and this was much earlier. This was around April, May 2024, and look how much effect it has had. So I'm going to explain this. I keep on saying this, and people shouldn't underestimate it. Before, in the chart we saw, not this chart, but the chart I just showed you guys before, it's not the size of the sale. People say, oh, it's only 5 to 10,000 Bitcoins being sold. The market can easily absorb that. Yes, the market can easily absorb that. But somehow the whales are freaked out by this. Somehow the whales, when they see major early whales from 10 years ago, 7 years ago selling, they are freaked out, and they just sell. It usually marks the top, and like local top at least. And it's it's a very powerful signal, because I think it's psychological. Somehow it's not the absolute amount they sell, but it's the psychological effect of symbolic effect of them seeing such early whale selling. And here we see it again as well. Like, look, we all remember this. This was last year in 2024. Bitcoin hit 73K. So we thought this was like, a new all-time high. It is, because that was 64K, 69K, 73K, and we thought this would go much higher, but it just kept on pulling back. Now, we realized that was a bull flag and kept on going down until it hit 49K, and this was terrible period. And we could have gotten, an early signal, because on the bounce, when it came to this massive high, it went to 70K again, we saw this massive sell signal, right? From the coin days destroyed. This is kind of the same thing. Basically, the number of days of the coin that was transferred. So the older the coin and the more coins transferred, the higher the spike here. So this was a lot of old coins being transferred. And look at the pullback here. This was a 6-7 month pullback. We didn't stop till end of September. From 73K down to 49K. This was last year. We all remember how painful that was, right? Big pullback. And now we've had another one, right? We can see this. This is the second largest. This was the largest in history, and we know how bad that was. This is now the second largest in history. However, one thing I will say is that was actually Bitcoin being sold. We know that now, right? This was Bitcoin being moved, but it hasn't been sold so far. So that's why I had that big explanation at the start of this video. I'm not sure how seriously we should take this, because he didn't sell it so far. He moved it. But then you wonder, why do you move it after 14 years if you're not going to sell it? And he moved $4 billion worth. What if you make a little mistake when you type, right? When you type in or you copy and paste, right? We're talking about $4 billion here. So why would you move it for no good reason? That's the thing. You think he is going to sell it, and this is the second biggest signal in history. So have a look at this one. The other time when this happened was 2018, end of 2018, and there was a massive move as well, and this was absolute capitulation. Again, showing even whales got freaked out. Even whales were so fearful that they dumped, and at the absolute bottom. But other times, when we've had a big run in Bitcoin, this was after a prolonged bear market. But after, a bull run in Bitcoin, when there are big spikes, it still signals the local top, right? Big spike. This was kind of early. Big spike here. Big spike here. Well, these are. You could say they still signaled the kind of the local top, especially this one was quite accurate. I mean, the point is, when we see really old coins like 7, 10, 14-year-old coins, when they are like $4 billion, 40,000 coins being moved, I hope I've proven by now that to you guys through actual data that this is a massive big move. And also have a look at this. Have a look at this. I'll show you guys ETH. ETH, on the other hand, is telling a different kind of story. So this is Ethereum. Total inflows into the accumulation addresses, into addresses, on-chain addresses that have been accumulating. And since 2018, whales haven't been buying much. And then they accelerate and they start buying around late 23. But then we've had this massive drop. This was dropped from 4,200 down to the 1,400 recently, that big painful drop in ETH. But look at this massive spike. As it was dropping, ETH whales were buying. ETH whales were buying. And especially recently, after it bottomed, this big recent rise, right, in ETH to this 2,600 area, ETH whales were buying. Here are the, if we look at it, this is the total balance. Here's the inflows into the ETH whale addresses or accumulation addresses. And once again, we see a similar pattern. Last time we saw a big spike here. ETH kind of bottomed and went up. This spike showed the bottom here. Well, these spikes not helpful because ETH went down. So no signal is 100% useful, and these are massive spikes of inflows and accumulation here. So what does all this mean? My interpretation is, as we've seen in the Bitcoin chart, as I keep on saying, the psychological effect of a whale moving these coins is huge, especially if he turns out he's selling them. If he does sell them in the next 5, 10, 20 days, then I think 90% chance, 110, 112K was the local top, and we're going for a pullback to at least 100K and then maybe even sub 100K. So far, he hasn't sold it yet. It's a mystery to me. I don't know why he does this, so we need to watch this really carefully. I would just be cautious. I would just say, look, why would he move these coins without selling them? My assumption is he's probably going to sell them, or sell them over the counter, transfer them to a buyer, and the buyer will transfer like a few $1 billion of USDT to him, whatever. So I would be very careful, be very cautious about where the market is, especially if it looks like Bitcoin's pulling back into the price band, into the bull flag zone. So basically, then I would still think a retest of 100K is likely on again, could happen. And also, but for Ethereum, as we're seeing right now, there's a lot of accumulation. But as we saw here, just because whales are accumulating doesn't mean you can't dump. Eventually, I think Ethereum is going much higher. If Bitcoin pulls back to 100K, and I think Ethereum pulls back to like 2100, 2200 area, and then we get the bounce up, Bitcoin to make a new all-time high, Bitcoin starts running, and Ethereum hits around 3200K. So short term, we're seeing bearish signals, in my opinion. Longer term, as in the next 3 to 4, 5 months, I think we'll hit a new all-time high, somewhere around the mid 100s, 140K to 165K in that area. So for the short term, I would just say be very careful, guys. Okay, thank you for your time. I'll catch you guys next episode.